From Nebraska's trusted news source, this is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up tonight on the news, officials say slowing vaccination rates in Nebraska are hurting the healthcare system.
Plus, millions are going to nonprofits in Lincoln to help with affordable housing.
But first, we're talking about the first snowfall of the season. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday night. For many days here in December, we've enjoyed very mild temperatures.
I should say so, but now snow is in our forecast. So let's check in with meteorologist Malcolm Byron. He's in for John. We want to see what you need to know about the upcoming storm. Malcolm?
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope you enjoyed the weather today. We made it up into the upper 50s to low 60s today, but snow is on the way, and here is what you need to know. As far as accumulations go for Lincoln, it's looking like we're likely going to see under an inch in the capital city, and as you head farther north, it looks like snow totals will increase. We've been saying this for the last several days, but right now we're pretty confident in saying that this doesn't look like a huge snowmaker for the capital city. Overall, it should be a low impact event, but it is the first snowfall of the season, so just keep that in mind as this will affect the evening commute tomorrow. Just be extra cautious, maybe slow down just a little bit more, give it a little extra stopping distance as there may be a few slick spots out there. In the meantime, we have a nice sunset looking live over our Shones roofing camera in Beatrice, and clouds are moving in overhead. We can see them on the satellite imagery. You may notice in the top left portion of your screen, we already do have some snow underway in the Nebraska Panhandle. Snow will be falling for a longer period of time out that way, so the highest accumulations are in the northwest part of the state. We will have to wait till tomorrow. There is more clouds and snow off towards the west. That is what is headed our way. Right now, 49 degrees in Lincoln, 52 in Beatrice, so it's overall a nice evening for any outdoor plans. As we head over the next several hours, we have clouds in the forecast. They will stick with us into the overnight hours and throughout much of the day tomorrow. Temperatures holding into the 40s through the next several hours. Coming up, we're going to outline sort of a map perspective of who will see what in terms of snowfall accumulations.
Sounds great. Thank you very much, Malcolm. And speaking of the weather, new video is showing the moments a Tennessee tornado flipped a school bus with the driver still inside.
Yeah, that's Don Robinson. He was preparing for his route near Nashville on Monday when the bus started to shake. He said he just hung on as long as he could. Look at this. The tornado also tossed an RV on top of Don's school bus. Officials confirm at least 6 tornadoes swept across the Middle Tennessee area on Monday. All right, we have an update now from Bryan Health.
With the same message, COVID case numbers are too high and vaccination rates are too low.
For the unvaccinated population, if there are any listening, if you are not concerned about yourself or those close to you, what we're imploring you to understand is the middling vaccination rates here in Nebraska are crippling the healthcare system.
Bryan Health says hospitals are full and backed up with patients, especially in rural areas. They say over 20 people were in waiting rooms needing to be transported somewhere else for care because there was no room for them. 9 out of 10 patients on ventilators are unvaccinated, and nearly 400 people have died at Bryan hospitals from COVID since April. And on the national front, the FDA now expanding Pfizer's booster shot eligibility to include more teenagers.
It comes as scientists continue to study the new variant, Omicron. ABC's Rena Roy has the very latest.
More American teens will soon be better protected against COVID-19. Both the FDA and CDC now authorizing Pfizer's booster shot for 16 and 17-year-olds. Early data suggesting getting a third shot appears to stand up against Omicron.
When you get that third shot boost, it dramatically increases the level of laboratory projected protection. This is good news about the booster protection.
Pfizer saying we may even need a 4th booster to offset the new variant's impact.
When we see real-world data, we'll determine if the Omicron is well covered by the 3rd dose and for how long. And at a certain point, I think we will need the 4th dose.
Health officials working hard to stay ahead of Omicron and the Delta variant, which is largely to blame for rising COVID-19 numbers. 117,000 Americans infected with COVID last week, an 83% increase since late October. Hospitalizations in Connecticut more than doubling in the last month.
Every day, it's a little bit like going into battle, and we recognize that this is not over yet.
The same situation in Massachusetts, where one hospital is running at 120% capacity.
You come in one day and you say this is the worst we've ever seen it, and you come back the next and it's even worse. So this is very, very concerning what's going on right now.
The good news is more than 200 million Americans are now fully vaccinated. On average, nearly 2 million shots are being administered each day. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Okay, back here at home now. Today, Lincoln's mayor announcing the creation of $6 million in revolving loan funds.
It's to support more affordable housing in our city. Channel 8's Ariana Martinez shows us how some of these funds are already being put to good use.
I'm here at one of the properties that Lincoln NeighborWorks has been working on revitalizing in an effort to bring more affordable housing to our area. Lincoln NeighborWorks is one of 3 area nonprofits receiving $2 million each to revitalize and build new affordable homes.
This program will allow us to work with a broader array of middle-class households that are also being left behind in the current housing market. Specifically, we will deploy our new working capital to reinvest in some of Lincoln's most downtrodden homes via an acquisition rehab program that will bring them back to life as beloved middle-class family houses.
$10 million in total is being dispersed throughout the state, and Lincoln received $3 million from that. The other $3 million for the capital city was matched by the Nebraska Investment Finance Authority and many other funding partners.
The creation of the loan funds was made possible by the Nebraska legislature's passage of LB 866, a $10 million matching grant program for urban communities.
These are examples of how Lincoln NeighborWorks is taking eyesores in our neighborhood and turning them into desirable homes.
A lack of workforce housing affects the ability of neighborhoods and communities to maintain and develop viable, stable, and thriving economies. A shortage of quality housing in such areas also impacts the ability of employers to grow and prosper.
The goal is to gain homeowners, so these funds will not be used for apartment complexes.
Cluster development new construction units are also being planned by our construction and design teams. The remaining funds will be made available to other Lincoln affordable housing developers and for down payment assistance that will help lower the threshold for homeownership for middle-income families across Lincoln.
This funding will help the city reach the mayor's goal of 5,000 new or rehabilitated homes by 2030. Reporting in Lincoln, Ariana Martinez, Channel 8 News.
And another positive of this plan is that the nonprofits won't have to pay back those loans.
The interest and principal payments on the loans will be used to pay them and create more loan opportunities. Well, an online scam turned into a very real scare for a Grand Island woman.
The scammer threatened to shoot her house. The woman fell victim to one of the oldest online scams, tricking people into cashing fraudulent checks. When she caught on, she stopped sending money, and that's when the threat came over a text message. So far, police have not identified a possible suspect. Here's a live look now in Washington. Leaders from both sides of the aisle coming together today to honor longtime Kansas Republican Senator Bob Dole as he lies in state in the Capitol Rotunda.
President Biden remembering the decorated World War II veteran, former presidential candidate, and respected statesman. ABC's M. Nguyen has the story.
Honoring Senator Bob Dole, a well-respected and powerful Republican leader in Congress, known for his humor and humility. President Biden calling the late Kansas senator an American giant and a friend.
Robert Joseph Dole. He belongs here, in this place, in this temple of liberty and to temple to possibilities.
Dole volunteered for the Army shortly after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor at 19 years old. He served during World War II and was gravely wounded on the battlefield in Italy, costing him the use of his right arm and partially paralyzing his left. He had earned 2 Purple Hearts for his heroic efforts in war. Dole ran for president 3 times, finally securing the GOP nomination but losing to President Bill Clinton in 1996. Clinton later awarded Dole the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Today, Dole's widow, Elizabeth Dole, a powerful politician in her own right, joined lawmakers from both sides of the aisle to remember Dole's life and public service, including over 3 decades in Congress. Dole was a champion for veterans' rights and people with disabilities, helping pass the Americans with Disabilities Act. He also proudly voted for both the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, 2 issues that have become highly partisan today.
He spent decades carrying fellow veterans and Americans with disabilities on his shoulders.
In his final op-ed written days before his death, Dole criticized current political divides and urged Congress to work together for the common good, a sentiment echoed by the president today.
We still found a way to work together. We genuinely respected one another as colleagues and as fellow Americans.
Dole's casket will lie in state for public viewing for those who are invited until tonight. And then tomorrow, a funeral service at the Washington National Cathedral. Emlyn, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Here's a nice story. For the second time, a Lincoln man is the History Channel's Forged in Fire champion.
This year, Colton Aries was competing in Season 9, Episode 1, and it was called the Young Guns Challenge. 4 of the youngest returned to compete, and Aries came out on top again, winning a $10,000 prize. Now, we talked to him back in 2019 when he won for the first time, and he was just 18 years old. So another big congratulations to Colton tonight. Still to come on the news, an uplifting moment for a local family.
Yeah, it's our magic moment. How much snow are we going to see tomorrow? That answer right after the break.
This holiday season, Union Bank is continuing its Magic Moments Christmas experience.
Yeah, it's always one of our favorites every holiday season, and Channel 8 is so proud to team up with them again this year. Today, they stop by to give Peggy Castle and her family a special Christmas. Michaela Castle nominated her mom, Peggy, to receive this magic moment, to honor her, and to give her a Christmas to remember.
You know, she's always been there for me, and I wanted to do make sure that, she had a special holidays.
Peggy was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in October and was given a terminal diagnosis. But she's hoping for a miracle to spend more time with her family.
I'm still hoping for a miracle. Ben's only 14. They all still need me, but they need me more than just a couple years.
Some of the gifts for Peggy and her family: 2 tickets to see country star Eric Church here in Lincoln. Also dinner reservations, a limo ride, a day at the spa for Peggy and her daughter, as well as an iPad. Her son got a Nintendo Switch. They were all so thankful for the generosity. They had a hard time putting the experience into words.
It's overwhelming. I'm so grateful for everything you guys have done. It's an overwhelming feeling of gratitude.
And we'll be continuing to bring you more of these magic moments throughout the holiday season.
Now, your Storm Alert Team forecast with meteorologist Malcolm Byron.
Let's start off by heading over to Honda of Lincoln this morning, and after lots of sunshine today, clouds are back in the area. So overall, we're forecasting a mix of sun and clouds, and that's about what we saw. Some periods more sun, some periods more clouds, and we are on the cloudy side of things right now, and this will stick with us into the overnight hours, into tomorrow afternoon as well. High temperatures this afternoon were very warm. Lots of sunshine was able to get us into the upper 50s to low 60s. The actual climate report just came out, and 60 degrees was actually the high temperature at Lincoln Airport. We made it up to 60 degrees in Beatrice, 56 in Grand Island, 54 in Kearney, 56 in Aurora, and you notice by the max wind speeds that we saw today, it was a little bit breezy this afternoon. Still a nice evening in the upper 40s right now, 49 degrees in Lincoln, 52 in Beatrice, but many locations dropping to the upper 40s, especially out west, 48 in Grand Island, 48 in Aurora, 48 as well in York, 45 the current temperature out in Columbus. Again, we mentioned we do have some cloud cover moving in off from the west. There's more cloud cover farther off to the west, and it is a little bit thicker. It'll thicken up in the overnight hours, and if you look here, you may notice some blues and whites starting to overspread the far northwestern part of Nebraska. So snow is already starting to fall in the Nebraska Panhandle. As we go into the overnight hours, we're keeping clouds. 32 degrees our forecast low, but I do think we will be dry here in the capital city for the overnight hours. We do have to wait till tomorrow afternoon. So this is that area of low pressure that we were talking about over the last several days. This is what's causing all that precipitation. It'll move off towards the east. By tomorrow morning, we're going to be watching snow mainly in the northern part of the state. This is where it will be falling for the longest period of time. That is also where we are expecting the most accumulations. As you go forward in time, looking at the Tri-City, starting to see some of the snow early tomorrow afternoon. I think we'll have to wait till about 4 or 5 o'clock for Lincoln. You might notice this little sliver of pink right here. There is a possibility that we may see some light freezing drizzle out ahead of this. This will be very light activity, but keep this in mind for your evening commute, as there may be a couple of slick spots out and about. We're watching snow as we head in towards Friday evening, so this will be a changeover. As we mentioned yesterday, we are going to be very close to the southern fringe of the snowfall, so locations farther south likely to see less accumulations. This is a quick moving system, so by the time this pushes off towards the east, it'll be about, I'd say, midnight or so. We'll be dry going into Saturday morning. Now, as far as our chance of seeing over an inch of accumulations, yesterday we were seeing about a 0% chance for Beatrice. That has shifted southward just a little bit more. Some computer model guidance is suggesting that we may see a few snow bands develop. If that's the case, folks farther south have a better chance of seeing some accumulations out of this. Not likely to see an inch in Beatrice, and not likely to see an inch in Lincoln as well. Under a 50% chance, but the chances really increase as you head farther north, as you head towards Columbus, Greeley, or exceeding an 80% chance of seeing over an inch, and even just over 50% chance out towards the Tri-Cities. So our snow forecast across southeast Nebraska, under an inch south of this blue ribbon right here. That includes Lincoln, Crete, Beatrice, Fairbury, Hebron. And the farther south you are, the lower accumulations you are likely to see. Perhaps 1 to 2 inches out towards Grand Island, towards Omaha, probably on the higher end of that range in the northern part of this range right here. Now, for your forecast for Friday, 38 degrees. It'll be a chilly one. Overcast skies for much of the day. Afternoon snow will arrive, and keep in mind there may be a brief window of light freezing rain and northeasterly wind gusting up to 30 miles per hour at times, so it will be breezy tomorrow. 43 degrees on Saturday, though, with lots of sunshine, so the sky will take on a different look on Saturday compared to Friday. The sunshine should do a number on any accumulations across southeast Nebraska. Our 10-day forecast is going to warm things up on Sunday, 53 degrees, and even warmer going into Monday. Mostly clear skies. highs 57 degrees into the 60s on Tuesday. We have 61 degrees for a high temperature right now, and the record on Tuesday was 61 degrees set back in 1888. How about 70 degrees on Thursday? Mostly cloudy skies. That would shatter a record of 64 degrees. A disturbance will arrive late Wednesday. That should drop temperatures for the end of next week, but hey, we'll take the warm temperatures.
You see that 70? Yeah, the 70.
I know that whatever little bit of snow we may see, it'll be a distant memory once we hit 70 again.
Oh, yes.
All right, thank you, Malcolm. Here's a look at Wall Street today. The Dow, barely any movement at all. NASDAQ, though, is down 270 points. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source.
And finally tonight, some good stories to leave you with.
One about not giving up and some international holiday cheer. Chase your dreams. That's the message of 26-year-old Josie Oslakson. She's a Paralympic bronze medalist and now the coach of the University of Arizona's women's wheelchair basketball team. Oslakson was injured in a car accident in Minnesota years ago, but she says she didn't let that stop her from building confidence and going after what she wanted. Now she leads a team of women that she hopes is just as successful and confident. A Fort Myers, Florida boy walked away with just a scrape after getting trapped in a concrete sewer pipe. The South Trail Fire Department says the boy was playing on the stacked pipes when his lower leg and foot got wedged inside. The department called in extra resources and tried using water, lubricant, and taking off the boy's shoe, but nothing worked. It took chiseling the concrete away in chunks to free the boy. A little rain didn't stop Rome from lighting up its Christmas tree. Residents say this year's tree is better than others in recent years. Surrounding the base of the tree are 17 large gifts. Each one represents a UN Sustainable Developmental Goal like zero hunger, climate action, and gender equality. And it was a night of carol singing at Westminster Abbey where Prince William and Duchess Kate celebrated the unsung heroes of the coronavirus pandemic. The royal couple greeted those in attendance who they say helped others with acts of kindness in the face of extraordinary challenges.
Well, it sounds like our roller coaster ride with temperatures and everything is going to continue. And with that, I know, Malcolm, you're watching a storm system that is working its way towards Nebraska.
Absolutely. First, let's get you the forecast for the rest of this evening. Enjoy your time outside because it's a nice evening. We do have some clouds overhead, but temperatures will be in the upper 40s by 6 o'clock, staying in the 40s throughout much of the evening hours, dropping into the 30s for the overnight hours. Again, overcast skies in the overnight hours, but I do think we will be dry. We'll start to see some snow potentially in Lincoln. I'd say probably about the start of the evening commute. Farther west, I'd say out towards the Tri-Cities, probably closer to 1, 2 o'clock. But the farther south you are, the less accumulations you're likely to see. We're thinking under an inch in the capital city, and the totals will drop off going farther south, maybe probably less than half an inch out towards Beatrice. But maybe northern Lancaster County, you could be nearing 1 inch, and as you get farther north, totals really start to ramp up in that 1 to 2 inch range. That's that blue ribbon right there. If you're living out in Greeley or Ord, you could be seeing on the order of several inches of snow for tomorrow night.
All right, Malcolm, thank you very much, and thank you all for joining us tonight.
World News with David Muir is up next. We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.
With the Channel 8 Eyewitness News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
At Supreme Spa and Pool, it's hot tub season. Luxury hot tubs. No interest for 36 months. In stock.
Supreme Spa and Pool.